Now, this is not going to be a sexist interview, but it is about men. So, you know, if you don't want to hear about men, then maybe you should go and have a cup of coffee. But I think you do want to hear about men, even if you're a woman. It's a great title, this book. It's called The 10 Best Decisions a Man Can Make, The Adventure of Living in God's Plan by Bill Farrel, who's also, with his wife, written a book called Men Are Like Waffles and Women Are Like Spaghetti. Bill, you got to help me with that. Waffles and spaghetti?
Yeah, you know, we're always looking for a way to help relationships make sense to men. And we know men are into food.
Yeah.
So we looked for some type of a food picture that would help men and women know what to do with their differences that God created in us. And so Men Are Like Waffles. If you were to diagram the way a typical man processes information in life, it looks like the top of a waffle. Bunch of boxes, all those boxes are separated from one another by walls. And the way we as men operate is the first issue in life goes in the first box, second issue goes in the second box, third issue goes in the third box. And we separate out the issues of our life, deal with them as individual issues. The way women process information looks like a plate of spaghetti. Every noodle's touching every other noodle on the plate, and they can go from subject to subject seamlessly. And so women tend to be better at multitasking than men do, and men tend to be better at separating out the issues than women do. And when you combine those two together, it's a really good thing for families and churches and communities. But we keep trying to erase the differences, act like they don't matter, where God made us male and female.
Right.
Yep, and so since we use food, guys kind of get it.
Well, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, right?
Do you know that's actually true? When a man eats a meal, the part of his brain that makes him happier gets stimulated. Really? So a man literally is more content with himself, more content with life right after he's eaten. And when he shares that meal with a female, the part of the female brain that sharpens her eyesight gets stimulated. So she becomes more aware of her environment and has more to talk about. It's one of the reasons why so many good relationship things happen around meals. Because physically our brains react differently to food.
It could be why some relationships break up too. Because her sense of seeing is highlights just, who is this guy?
That's right.
Moving right along, 10 best decisions a man can make. I've read the book, very interesting, a lot of good, by the way, I love the just for fun segments.
Yes.
It makes it worth reading the chapter, just to get to the just for fun, some great jokes in here.
And it comes out of my conviction that part of being a good decision maker is you need to keep laughing at yourself and you need to keep laughing at life. Because you can't get it perfect.
My favorite in here?
Yes.
Is the young preacher who's doing his first funeral.
Right.
Gets lost, arrives late.
Right.
And it was an indigent, homeless man who's being buried, so he didn't expect to see any family there.
Right.
Comes up, there's a hole there, and the coffin's already in the vault, and there's a couple of workmen, and he just goes up there and gives the guy a great send-off, preaches a great sermon.
Right, just really gets into it. Leaves, and the two workers look at each other and said, wow, I've never seen anybody do that with a septic tank before. Time
to get serious. A very interesting aspect of this book is you're concerned about pace, the pace of our lives as guys, right? And you use some great symbols. You talk about the muscle car, the sports car, the semi, the mail truck, and the tractor, all of which I could relate to because I'm a bit of a motorhead. I was looking for the Harley Davidson. It's not there, but. The muscle car. Let's go through these.
Let me tell you first where the conviction came from.
Right.
The two things happened when I was a young man. One is I've been told my whole life to slow down.
Right.
And I've always had a sense that it's not right for me to slow down, that I do well at the pace I'm running at. And then I was working with teenagers, and we were doing a long-distance bike trip. And we brought in a guy who's a professional bike rider to train us how to do this right. And he said to us in the training, your bicycle has gears on it because there is a pace at which your legs can go all day long. And he said, if you go faster than that pace, you'll fatigue yourself. But then he said, if you go slower than that pace, you will also fatigue yourself. So you want to ride at your pace all day long. And when he said it, I realized we're not just talking about bike riding. We're talking about life. That you have a pace you run at best. I have a pace I run at best. Every man has a pace at which they run best. And it's not the same pace for all of us. It's just like in the Olympics. There's long distance runs and there's sprints. And the sprinters need to run fast and the long distance runners need to run slower. And both of those paces are appropriate for the race that they're in.
You know, when I was reading what you were saying about pace in the book, I thought of something that I wanted to ask you, because you don't even hint at it, and I don't know if you even thought of it. But a guy finds himself in a work situation, and he's under a boss who just takes it for granted that everybody should work at the pace he works at, right? And he's got this guy who doesn't work at the same pace, and if he doesn't work at the same pace, maybe he works at a slower pace or he has a different way of prioritizing, the boss interprets it as lack of work ethic.
Right.
What's the guy going to do in a situation like that?
Well, if we're talking a mandated work environment, it's up to the worker to learn how to live at the pace of the boss, but that guy's going to go home exhausted.
Yeah.
And so he has to have a way of decompressing when he gets home. He's going to have more downtime when he gets home. It's going to be harder on his family. So my advice is learn how to run at your boss's pace, but then start praying and looking for another opportunity that allows you to run at your pace, because you will be more effective at your pace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, one really important factor in my pacing is a 15-minute power nap in the afternoon.
Yeah.
If I don't have that, I'm toast at night.
But if you get it,
if I get it, I'm re-energized. So when I was a teenager, working part-time in a grocery store, you get a 15-minute break in the morning, you get a 15-minute break in the afternoon. During the break, I would go back where we stacked the groceries, and I'd clear some, and I would lie down and I would sleep for 15 minutes instead of having a coffee or something.
Yep.
And that made all the difference for me.
Yeah.
And that was a pacing factor. I guess I was doing it intuitively, but I'm reading you and I'm thinking, hey, boy, there's wisdom there. Now, what about this muscle car analogy?
Well, I was looking for a way to help guys grab onto this and say, you know, what does my pace look like? And I figured, well, we can use vehicles to represent this. So the muscle car, that's the guy that he just wants to go fast and straight. Like, muscle cars are fun to be in until you have to turn.
Yeah, right.
And so these are the guys, I mean, they have the destination in mind. They know where they want to go. They just want to step on the gas. They're disappointed the car has a brake because they just want to go and get there. Yeah. And as a result, they don't like distractions. They don't like all the details. They get very frustrated when people try to slow them down to deal with the details because they just know where they need to go. And I've noticed that men who have that pace of a muscle car, God often gives them big responsibility because they're not intimidated by it. Right. They don't see all the details. They don't worry about all the details. They just know where we need to go. And so they're great as leaders. They're great as guys out front leading the charge because they draw the rest of us to bigger opportunities.
What's your favorite muscle car?
My favorite is a Camaro.
Really?
Really.
Mine too.
Is that right?
Yeah, I
always dreamed of having a Camaro.
I had a Camaro for
Did
several
you?
years, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
And then my family were growing, and they didn't like crawling over the front seat to get in the back seat. And
right.
So
I got that family thing. I just changed
the old family. Okay, so we get the muscle car. Then you got the sports car.
The sports car, that's the guy that likes to turn quickly and often. And he's all about opportunities. So he's rolling through life, he sees a new opportunity, he turns quickly to go get it. And when he gets done with that opportunity, he starts looking for a new one. And the destination is not as important as the process getting there because he's the guy that sees, hey, God's working over here, and God's working over there, and God's working here. And so he goes from opportunity to opportunity very quickly. Often drives people crazy because they wonder, are you committed to anything? Are you really focused on anything? Or are you just jumping around?
He's got ADD.
He appears to.
Yeah.
But often those are the guys that blaze the trails. Yeah. They see what other people miss, and they aren't afraid to go after it. Yeah. So they run at a pretty fast pace also. They just jump from opportunity to opportunity. And, you know, all of these can get off track. You know, if a muscle car doesn't pay attention, the accident's usually pretty dramatic. Yeah. The sports car, too, can get distracted on trivial things. So there has to be discipline added. But the reality is sports cars were made to turn and to turn quickly. Yeah. And I remember I've had one opportunity to drive a Porsche. And I almost hate to admit this, but I was on a turn that said 25 miles an hour down in the States. Right. I came out of the turn going 60 and could have gone faster.
The back end didn't break around on you.
Because that car was made to turn.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what sports cars do, is they see opportunities and they go get them. And so they're extremely valuable to our lives and to our organizations. Because
I'm kind of ruined lately because about 3 weeks ago, a friend of ours insisted that I take his Audi R8 for a ride.
Yep.
One of the world's greatest supercars.
And now you're disappointed in every other car.
I'm totally spoiled. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, who wants to drive these pedestrian things? You know, give me the R8. But no, I fully appreciate that. Now the semi, we're talking big, macho, heavy-duty truck here.
Right. The semi is a vehicle that takes a while to get up to speed, carries lots of responsibility, and likes to stay at the speed once he gets up.
Right.
So these are guys. It takes them a while to get up to speed. If they ever have to turn, takes a while. They have to slow down. They have to have a big area to turn around in, and so change comes slow for these people. But the huge advantage of the semi is they carry lots of responsibility. So these guys are the backbone of all of our organizations.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I've noticed a lot of accountants are semis
Yeah.
because they just carry responsibility. They run at the same pace for long periods of time, and they're good with that.
Yeah.
And they aren't dramatic. They don't make quick turns, but they're the ones that hold everything together and really make our organization solid.
You know,